Guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do Legends of the Dark Knight, issue number 26 by DC Comics, made by Howard Chaykin and Gil Kane. This is the third part of the Flyer trilogy, the last, and I had a blast with all of them. And so let's dive in. So we begin here, when younger Batman is being tortured by this woman, and Batman basically in the last issue says, "Hey, I don't want to have intercourse with you." Now she's going to torture him, and she says, "I haven't invested my time, my energy, my life, keeping myself fertile, and pure, to have your strength from all I offer." And the art looks freaking fantastic, in my opinion, of course. And look at this computers and mechanical stuff. Cool. Anyway, so Batman says, "End this. Look at you, a monster crucified, so primitively beautiful, so pagan, and so vainglorious, ready to die to resist me." Batman says, "I'm just not your type." Just like the last issue, the writing and the commentary is hilariously bad. Well, it's not bad. It's just hilarious because I don't know. I never seen Batman talk like this, and it's getting even better later. So he's waking up after being unconscious by the bombardment of this electricity, and she's gonna test him somehow. I don't know. She wants to break him. She says, "This resolve, this dance with death to avoid my will. Nothing could arouse me or my determination more. We have several floors of equipment designed to test my combat suits. The best I'm not sure how you say that, siphon government funds can provide. Imperfect for exploding this delusion you once succumbed to me." I have no clue what she just said, but it sounded cool. And Batman says, still dazed, "I'm not an unworldly man. I know my share of women on the edge and the verge, but this woman, with her fastest heritage for twisted fantasies, is totally mad." So you can see she's, I don't know, sending darts, projectiles, exploding, and he, uses his bat equipment thingies to counter whatever she's throwing at him. And again, the dialogue is fantastic. She says, "You're magnificent. Your uniform makes your uniform makes you an erotic shadow." I'm sorry. This is so hilarious. All she's just very, very horny. And she also says that their bloodstreams will mingle in an ecstatic electric union. But then later, Curtis comes out, but not before. And she says, "Must I continue until you're too broken to appreciate it? Am I so unappealing, so devoid of charm? I see in you a hooded and cloaked Teutonic knight. He's not a knight. I am the ill-met knight." And he shuts his mother up, and he wants to have his say. He thinks that his mother is neglecting him because she is, I don't know, have a big affection towards Batman instead of her son. I don't know if some kind of an Oedipus complex is at play here. I'm not entirely sure, but she says, "Curtis, I insist you disconnect that power pack." "No. It's what I need to be a man again. Not the cripple he and his bats created when he made my helicopter crash, and not the expendable toy robot you and your armor make me. A man, mother. Ready to take back your love from this costume fool." And Batman is still, I don't know, man, he's still out of it. And by the way, I said it many times, buy this comic. So Eisenman here, or Curtis, attacks him. And he wants to reclaim his birthright, and he is kicking his ass, man. He says, "Watch me pound your precious Cape Gigolo into the ground." So he's so furious, but his fury is not really against Batman, but more against his mother. And and Batman, thinking inside of his head, from the corner of my black eye, I see a reaction. She wets her lips, titillated by the battle. His face. And he says, Iceman, for God's sake, she's still using you, making you one more device to test. And he says, no, I won't hear it. I am my own man again. Like I was when I was a pilot, a flyer, able to soar over it all. It's so over dramatic. I love it. And he's beating Batman into a pulp, man. He's really going at it. And so Batman also says that perhaps Curtis Iceman does soar. Aided, augmented by exoskeleton and power pack, he certainly triumphs. And he realized that the mother is still watching. Look at this. This looks fantastic. The art is amazing. And he kicks them all over the place. Fantastic stuff. But Iceman is still going. He says that the Batman is now finished and unworthy of your love, mother. And and he says, just who is unworthy, Curtis? Seems not quite so settled. And then Batman says, bitch. What are you, some kind of a masochist? Like the leather boys downtown? That's a gay reference, I guess. So he's still beating him. And Batman is now out of it. He's defenseless. He is getting beaten over and over again until Iceman, wins and he's barely unconscious. And then Iceman says, now he's yours. Give me what's mine. So his mother says, what could possibly be yours? You're my mother, for God's sake. At least give me some of the feeling you showed for him. This thing I defeated. But then something happening. Batman thinks, defeated? Over, except for the pain, the agony, the pain, the agony, the pain. And we see him, going back to where it all began in that alley. And he says, if pain is all that is left behind, then it must be pain that must sustain me. Wow, that's some deep shit, man. And this looks great, man. This, from a young boy, his tears, his anger, his pain, and then he rises. And he says, Eisenman, mein Gott, this is a man, she says. And Iceman says, what does it take? You don't have to find out. Just step aside and let me go. And Batman doesn't hesitate and he attacks immediately Iceman. Got to move with the pain, he says. Chunkus? Chunkus. So hilarious. And also cool Kobe Bloods, by the way. I forgot that. Anyway, what's this? Destroyer. Okay. So now it's, the tables are turned. Iceman is so, in shock that Batman, and still in his, almost defeated form, fights back and actually defeats him. But, well, sort of, because Batman now is collapsing and he thinks, I'm learning something important lessons here. Pain. Pain is never enough. And you can see Iceman's face here is totally in shock. He's amazed what's happening. And then it's getting weirder. Forget it all, mother. Your obsession, my obsessions. He's shown he's much more. This man is a hero, a true champion who finds victory in defeat. I blame myself for my loathsome weakness, my inability to crawl from beneath your thumb. I blame your indifference for making me that way, Mom. I'm a monster, but you, pouring your every passion into orgasmic hatred, your every effort into weapons and death. You're more monster, mother, than I can ever hope to be. It's a little bit weird, Iceman. You just beat Batman half to death just moments ago, but no. Okay, moving on. So she says, Curtis, shut up. You ungrateful pig. After all I have sacrificed, so she begins again about what she has done for him, etc. And but then Iceman doesn't take it anymore. He is so over her, and he says, She says, better to have aborted you before you were born. Yes, I might have. Taking you with me, leaving this world 2 nightmares short. Good night, mother. And he just storms off. And it's like, maybe he's pissed off, maybe he's angry, maybe he doesn't want to see his mother anymore. But then his mother realizes what he's going to do. So there is some kind of a generator. I believe he's gonna tinker with it or blow him up. And then she tried to stop him using this facility's defense mechanisms, but it doesn't matter because, well, Iceman is too quick and too cunning. Well, Batman escapes with the part of the flying armor of Iceman, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's the same flying gear that, from here. So that's the same. Anyway, that's a cool escape, by the way. I mean, he can barely walk. Anyway, so she says, Kurt, don't do it. And she tried to defend, and she says, to hell with you, Mom. Kurt, you're my son. Too little, too late. And she says, Kurt, I love you. And they're all gonna die, I guess. And yeah, the facility is blowing up, and Batman barely escapes, but this equipment is just falling apart because it's broken. So he falls into Gotham Bay, I guess. And then, he rises from he helps himself out of the water, and he thinks about what happened. He says, I'm lucky in many ways. Birgit Eisenman seems to have acted alone. It wasn't the government, at least not this time. I can go on doing what I do, being what I am, but I doubt after this it'll ever be fun. he's still alive. He's his mother. So Iceman is still alive somehow, but it's the end, so we don't see how it ends. This is great. This is so cool. This is so totally different from every other Batman comic that I've read. Highly recommend. I mean, there's 3 issues of this story, Flyer 2, Flyer 1, Part 2 and 3. You can get it